You're listening to 105.3, The Gerblin, Dominaria's #1 music source for generic goblin noise.
Hey gang, just to let you know, you can now use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com and originalmagicart.store. Using the code gets you 10% off orders $10 or more, and you get to help out the channel at the same time. I also want to let you guys know that Flipside Gaming is doing another giveaway for Guilds of Ravnica. If you place an order at flipsidegaming.com between September 3rd and October 7th using the promo code MTGMudsta, you'll be entered to win. We've decided to limit entry as one per person to give everyone a more fair chance. So have fun and good luck. Today's game is a special one. We were very fortunate that Armin had all the 2014 Commander PRECONs sleeved up and untouched. I had hoped to release this in conjunction with the new Commander set, but unfortunately due to a plane ride that was only supposed to take an hour and a half, turning into about an entire day's worth of travel, I wasn't able to get to it. We rolled a d6, randomizing the order, and I got Nixilis, keeping Read the Bones, Tragic Slip, 2 Swamps, Arcane Lighthouse, Jet Medallion, and Crypt of Agadim. Armin got Nahiri, keeping 4 Plains, a Karoo, Skyhunter Skirmisher, and Silverblade Paladin. Jeff got Daretti, keeping 3 Mountains, Swiftfoot Boots, Ichor Wellspring, Beetleback Chief, and Magma Quake. And Kevin got Teferi, keeping 2 Islands, Aethergale, Stitcher Geralf, Into the Royal, Ghost Quarter, and Infinite Reflections. Jeff wins the die roll and starts us off. Jeff plays a mountain and passes. I play a swamp and I pass to Kevin. Kevin plays an island and passes. Armin plays a plains and he passes back to Jeff. Jeff plays a mountain and casts a tapped fire diamond. I play a swamp, casting Jet Medallion and passing to Kevin. Kevin plays an island and passes. Armin plays a plains and passes back to Jeff. Jeff plays a mountain and casts Daretti. He uptakes his Planeswalker, discarding 2 cards and then drawing 2. I play a swamp and I cast Charcoal Diamond. Kevin plays a Ghost Quarter and passes turn. Armin plays a plains and casts his Skyhunter Skirmisher. Jeff draws and upticks Daretti, discarding 1 card. He plays an Arcane Lighthouse, and he casts Ruby Medallion. He then only needs to pay 3 mana for Beetleback Chief, gaining 2 tokens as it enters the battlefield. I play a Swamp, and I cast Nixilis with the Black Oath. I downtick him, losing 2 life, and gaining a 5/5 Black Demon with flying. Kevin plays an island, and he passes. Armin plays a plains, and the Skirmisher puts Daretti down 2 loyalty counters in the combat step. Jeff draws, and he upticks Daretti, discarding Bosch and drawing a card. Jeff then casts Ichor Wellspring, drawing a card, and pays 2 more to cast a Mind Stone. Moving to combat, Jeff swings everything he has at Nixilis, and I block the Beetleback with the Demon, but Nixilis still dies. In his second main phase, Jeff casts a Goblin Welder. He then moves to his end step, and I give it -13/-13 thanks to Tragic Slip. I play a tapped Crypt of Agadim, and I move to combat. I swing my demon at Daretti, who connects and deals 5 to him. In my second main phase, I cast Read the Bones, bottoming both cards and then drawing 2 and losing 2 life. At the end of my turn, following my example, Kevin kicks us into the Royal, bouncing my demon into Oblivion and drawing a card. Kevin plays an island and he casts Aethergale. He bounces the Skirmisher, my Medallion, my Diamond, and then Jeff's Diamond and his Medallion as well. Armin draws and he plays a Plains. He casts Nahiri and upticks her to make a token. Jeff plays a Phyrexia's Core as his land for turn, and downticks Daretti, sacrificing the Wellspring to bring back Bosch. Jeff then misses the draw, but he casts Swiftfoot Boots and equips him onto Bosch. Moving to combat, he swings Bosch at Nahiri. Armin snap blocks with a token, and is quick to regret it when he learns that Bosch has Trample as well. The token and Nahiri die, and we see Jeff recast Fire Diamond in his second main phase. Jeff then remembers he was supposed to draw, and as the kind people we are, we let him, and he passes to me. I play an Arcane Lighthouse, recasting my Charcoal Diamond, and then my Jet Medallion. I pass to Kevin. Kevin plays an island, and he casts Frost Titan. The Enter the Battlefield trigger has Jeff tapping Mind Stone, and he passes. Armin plays a Plains, and he recasts his Skirmisher, passing to Jeff. Jeff plays a Mountain, and he swings Bosch at Kevin. After the damage has been dealt, but before moving out of the combat step, Armin casts Wing Shards, forcing Jeff to sacrifice Bosch. But, with the spell in the stack, Jeff sacrifices Bosch to himself, and pays 2 extra to deal the damage to Frost Titan. For my turn, I cast Drana in my main phase, and I pass. Kevin plays a Tectonic Edge as his land for turn, and he casts Stitcher Geralf. Armin plays a Plains, and he passes turn. Jeff plays a dormant volcano, returning an untapped mountain to his hand. He then casts a trading post and pays 1 to sacrifice a creature, returning Bosch to his hand. Jeff passes, and at the end of turn, Kevin pongifies Drana. It resolves, and I gain a 3/3 green ape. I decide to also cast Skeletal Scrying, exiling 3 cards from my bin and losing 3 life to draw 3 cards. I cast Necrotol in my main phase because Kevin had been afraid that I'd use Drana to kill Geralf. Guess what, Kevin? I wasn't going to, but now I do. I blow up Geralf, and wanting to throw some further shade, I cast Evernight Shade, passing turn. Kevin pays 3 to cast Impulsive Research, drawing 3 cards and discarding a land. He then plays a Coral Atoll, bouncing an island to his hand before casting a Seagate Oracle. At the end of Kevin's turn, Armin casts White Sun Zenith, where X is 4. He gains 4 2/2 cat tokens, and then starts his own turn. Armin plays a Plains, and he brings back Nahiri, upticking her and making another token. He then passes to Jeff, who, at the end of turn, sacrifices his Mind Stone. Jeff plays a Mountain, and he casts Everflowing Chalice with Multi-Kicker for 4. He then passes to me. For my turn, I draw and I cast Aether Snap to deal with all of the tokens on the board and Nahiri. With the spell in the stack, Jeff sacrifices his token to Trading Post to return Mind Stone to his hand. I then swing my creatures at Armin, who doesn't block and takes 3. Kevin plays an island and he casts a secret morph creature. Is it Willbender? He then casts a Teferi and down takes him to untap 4 lands. Armin plays a Plains and moving to combat hits Teferi for 2 with his Skirmisher. Jeff casts a Pilgrim's Eye and goes to grab a mountain from his library. He recasts his Ruby Medallion and then recasts Mind Stone. I tap out in my main phase to cast Promise of Power Entwined, which Kevin is happy to dismiss. That's pretty much all of my mana having gone into a spell that was countered, and I pass my turn, but Jeff casts Magma Quake where X is 3 to take out most of the creatures on the board and Teferi. We learn that Kevin's morph creature was in fact not Willbender, and he reveals a Brine Elemental. Kevin then casts Nevernyal's Disc in his main phase, and he passes turn. Armin plays a Karoo, bouncing an untapped Plains to his hand, and hits Kevin for 2 with his Skirmisher. Jeff plays a Mountain, and he sacrifices his Mind Stone to draw a card. He then casts an Apocryphite, and brings out Daretti for some fun. He upticks him, but doesn't discard anything. Moving to combat, Jeff hits Kevin for 1 with the Pilgrim's Eye. I recast Ob Nixilis in my main phase and uptick him, having my opponents lose 1 life, while I gain 3. Kevin plays a Zoetic Cavern as his land for turn, and he pays 8 to recast a Teferi. He upticks him, putting 1 card in hand and 1 on the bottom. Armin moves straight to combat, hitting Teferi for 2. In his second main phase, he plays a Plains, and he passes turn. At the end of turn, Jeff taps the Trading Post to sacrifice his now defunct Chalice and draws a card. Jeff upticks Daretti in his main phase, pitching nothing and drawing nothing. He swings his creatures at Ob Nixilis for 2, and he passes to me. I draw and play a Swamp for my turn, and cast Overseer the Damned, which upon entering, gets to destroy something. I pick Jeff's Pilgrim's Eye, and he taps his Trading Post to sacrifice a creature, sacrificing the Eye to return the Wellspring to his hand. I still get a zombie though, and I upticked Ob Nixilis again, having everyone lose 1 while I gain 3. Kevin upticks Teferi in his main phase, and he plays an island. He then passes with all of his mana up. Armin plays a Mary of the Skyru in his land for turn, and he swings a Skirmisher at Daretti for 2. Jeff upticks Daretti. He recasts the Wellspring and draws a card as it enters. He then taps the Trading Post to sacrifice Apocryphite, which he puts into exile with 3 suspend counters. He brings back the Pilgrim's Eye to his hand and recasts it, going to find a mountain as it hits a field. He plays it, and watching this, I realize I should have gotten a zombie token, which I blame Jeff for making me miss, and Jeff passes. I cast a Lashwraith in my main phase, and I take 4 life loss to pay to equip it onto my zombie token. I then cast Morkret Banshee, which has the Morbid trigger when it enters because my germ died. I have it give Jeff's Pilgrim's Eye -3/-3, and I swing the zombie at Daretti and the Overseer at Kevin. Before moving to blockers, Kevin decides to cast Stroke of Genius, where X is 6. I realize I should have gotten a zombie token from the Eye dying, and the spell resolves, and Kevin draws 6 cards. Kevin takes 5, and Daretti goes back to the command zone. In my second main phase, I uptick Ob Nixilis once more, and everyone loses 1, while I gain 3. Unfortunately though, at the end of my turn, Kevin pops his disc. Kevin plays an island, and he suspends Deep Sea Kraken. He casts an Urgolem's Eye, and after that pays 4 to cast Thran Dynamo. He then floats the mana from Thran Dynamo before down-taking Teferi and untapping 4 permanents, one of which is the Dynamo. He taps some lands and uses the floating mana to drop a Sphinx of Magosi. Armin brings back the Skirmisher with his Emeria trigger, and he plays a Plains in his main phase. He casts Sacred Mesa, and Kevin removes his suspend counter. Armin then passes. Jeff plays a Great Furnace as a land for turn, and pays 6 to cast Horde Smelter Dragon. Kevin removes a counter, and Jeff activates the dragon to destroy the Thran Dynamo. Kevin floats the mana before it's destroyed, and as Jeff moves phases, Kevin puts the colorless and 1 blue into the Sphinx to draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Jeff casts a Pristine Talisman in his second main phase, and he passes to me. I play a Myriad Landscape in my main phase, my land for turn, and I uptick Ob Nixilis. I cast Dregs of Sorrow, where X is 3. I target the Sphinx, the Skirmisher, and the Dragon. Kevin activates his Ghost Core to destroy his own island, and goes to find an island which comes into play untapped. Kevin then removes a counter from the Kraken, and then taps out to cast Cackling Counterpart, targeting the Sphinx. He gets a token copy of it, and the spell resolves, destroying the other creatures. I then pass to Kevin. Kevin plays an island, and he casts Soul Ring, and then activates the Sphinx's ability twice, drawing 2 cards and putting 2 more +1/+1 counters on it. Kevin downticks Daretti, untapping 4 permanents, and swings the Sphinx at Ob Nixilis. Kevin then casts another Morph creature face down, and passes. At the end of turn, Armin activates the Mesa to make 5 Pegasus. Armin sacrifices one of the Pegasi on his upkeep, and brings back the Skirmisher once more with Maria. He plays a Plains, and he moves to combat. He swings all 4 Pegasi at Teferi, and passes turn. Jeff removes the suspend counter from the Apocryphite, and he draws. He casts Felden, and Kevin removes a counter from the Kraken. Jeff then casts a Pentavis, which has Kevin remove another counter from Kraken, and passes turn. I uptick Ob Nixilis once again, gaining 3 life and having my opponents lose 1. I cast a Commander's Sphere, and a Mind Stone, while Kevin removes the 2 remaining counters from the Kraken. I then pass to Kevin, who at the end of my turn, activates the Sphinx to put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. This worked out so well for him, he does it 3 more times before moving to his turn. Kevin plays an island, and he casts a Sky Diamond. We then see a Fog Bank resolve, and Kevin moves to combat. He swings the Sphinx at me for 12, and the Kraken and Armin for 6. Before damage, I crack the Myriad Landscape to find 2 swamps and take the hit. Kevin discards down to 7 at the end of turn, and Armin makes 7 more Pegasi. He sacrifices 1 on his upkeep, and he casts a Soul Ring. He then casts a Lockset on Warhammer, equipping it onto a Skirmisher. Armin swings the Skirmisher at Kevin, who casts an overloaded Cyclonic Rift. In his second main phase, Armin recasts his Soul Ring, and then drops a Sacred Mesa. Jeff removes the last suspend counter from Apocryphite, and brings it out, giving it 3 +1/+1 counters. Jeff then draws for turn, and he casts a Pristine Talisman. He then casts Bogard and Hellkite, and puts 2 damage on Fogbank, and 3 on Kevin. Kevin activates his Morph creature, revealing Willbender, and redirects the damage from the Fogbank back at Jeff. Jeff then swings the Apocryphite at me for 4, and in his second main phase, he casts Felden, gaining 1 life from the Talisman. I draw for turn, and I cast Soul Ring, and then Ob Nixilis. I downtick Ob Nixilis, losing 2 life, and gain a 5/5 Flying Demon token. I then cast Reaper from the Abyss, and I pass to Kevin. At the end of turn, Kevin puts another +1/+1 counter on the Sphinx, and draws a card. Kevin untaps and draws for turn. He casts a Kicked Rite of Replication, gaining 5 tokens of the Bogard and Hellkite. He has all of the triggers target Armin, and deals 25 damage. Kevin swings the Deep Sea Kraken at Armin, taking him out of the game. Kevin then casts a Call to Mind in his second main phase, and returns the Cyclonic Rift to his hand. Jeff activates Felden in his main phase, and brings back the Horde Smelter Dragon. He swings everything at Kevin, who blocks the Hellkite with the Sphinx, the Smelter with the Fogbank, and the Apocryphite with one of his copies of Hellkite. In his second main phase, Jeff is quick to cast Incite Rebellion, dealing 9 to Kevin and all of his creatures. My creatures aren't exempt from this, and they take 2 while I take 2. Jeff then casts Cathodian and passes to me. I uptick Ob Nixilis, draining Kevin and Jeff for 1 each, gaining 2 more. I move to combat, and Kevin overloads Cyclonic Rift. I play a Bojuka Bog in my second main phase to exile Kevin's graveyard, and I recast Ob Nixilis, upticking him once again, and gaining 2, and draining Kevin and Jeff for 1. I then recast the Reaper, and my Soul Ring before passing. Kevin casts Azure Mage in his main phase, and activates the Mage's ability to draw a card. He then casts Concentrate to draw 4 more, and he draws again with the Mage. He then discards a bunch of lands at the end of turn, passing to Jeff. Jeff draws, and he casts a Dreamstone Hedron, tapping the Hedron for a Pristine Talisman. Jeff then recasts the Cathodian, gaining 1 life from the Talisman, and he passes to me. I half untap on my turn, and go straight to combat to deal 6 to Kevin, before upticking Ob Nixilis to drain Kevin and Jeff for 1 and gain 2. This takes Kevin out, and I then cast Magus of the Coffers and Zathra Demon, passing to Jeff. Jeff removes a counter from his Apocryphite, and he casts a Spine of Ishsa, blowing up my Reaper. He then drops a Pentavis, and he passes turn. On my upkeep, I sacrifice the Magus to the Zathra Demon to make sure it doesn't smack me. I play a Swamp, and I downtick Nixilis, losing 2 and making a 5/5 Demon. I swing the Zathra Demon at Jeff for 7, and then cast an Abyssal Persecutor. At the end of my turn, Jeff uses Chaos Warp to shuffle away my Persecutor. I shuffle it in, and I reveal a Swamp off the top. Jeff's Apocryphite comes in from Suspend, gaining 3+1/+1 counters. He recasts Bosch before moving to combat and swings everything at me. And I block the Apocryphite with my Demon, taking 8. Jeff then sacrifices the Spine to Bosch, dealing 7 to me, and he pays 4, gaining 1 from the Pristine Talisman, to fling the Cathodian, dealing another 3 to me. Jeff then sacrifices his Dreamstone to Bosch once more, killing my Demon, and he passes. I take 7 on my upkeep from the Zathra trigger and tap it, before drawing a card. I play a Swamp, and I realize I'm done for, extending the hand to Jeff. Game review time. So I don't really have much to say. A lot of it's already been said considering these decks are over 4 years old. It's very clear that Daretti is probably the strongest of the 5, and being able to recur and draw cards in your command zone is great. Thanks again to Armin for bringing these decks sleeved up and untouched from their precons, so we got to share this with you. Let me know in the comments below what kind of themes or styles you'd be interested in seeing. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/MTGMudsta. And lastly, you can check me out when I stream at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in support by my patrons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.